Welcome to Selenium with Java October 21 batch online training session 1. So in this session you will learn what is automation testing, what is Selenium WebDriver, what are the advantage, disadvantage, how you can do the setup for your Eclipse along with Selenium WebDriver, how you can create your fast test cases with the help of Chrome and GCoDriver, what are the different element locator and web element, right, including id, name, export, other thing, how you can handle different web page, what are the different operation you can perform on web page, browsers, web edit box and the link, right. So definitely objective of the training, if I want to say, nowadays market is become competitive, so with the manual skill set, right, it might be trouble for you to get or grab project or new opportunity. So definitely you have to deal with the, you have to learn automation testing nowadays, which has become mandatory, not an optional thing. So automation testing, not definitely the Selenium part, any automation tools, appropriate programming language and appropriate framework you can learn. You can either go for EFT, you can go for Selenium, right, you can go for API testing, or you can go for, try to learn the DevOps part. So what are the additional benefit and topics will be covered from this session? So definitely I'll be will be covered in the upcoming 15 sessions, right. It will be total 15 sessions and only weekend, so 6 sessions in a month. It will take 2.5 months time. So right, I will try to cover 30-hour sessions, to 2-hour session each day, only on the weekends, 7 to 9 p.m. IST. Okay, and then Selenium WebDriver will be completely covered. Then I will cover the basic and advanced Java. Then I will also cover TestNG framework, then Maven, then all the framework, data-driven framework, keyword-driven framework, hybrid, and I will show you how you can create a framework from the scratch with the help of page object model, and where you can implement listener class, right, as well as extend report, Apache PY, all this stuff. And one last topics will be covered last, like which is Jenkins. So how you can integrate Jenkins with your Eclipse, all this stuff will be covered. And once the session is over, right, each and every session it will be recorded session, so I will try to record it, so that as in case you are facing any problem, you can go through the recording once more time. Okay, and then and after that the whatever the slides will be there, right, I'll be showing you to cover the session. It will be shared across you can go through the slide once more time. I'll be sharing the code with you, and once the framework is development, I'll be sharing the framework code with you. Okay, and after the session is over, I'll be sharing around 600 plus question and answer from the different topics, whatever will be covered, so that definitely once you learn Selenium WebDriver, you start practice it and gain confidence, and definitely once you gain confidence, you can really work for the project, as well as you can try for the better opportunity outside your organization or outside the world, right. So that is the overall objective here. So what is software testing and automation testing? So software testing, I definitely know, is in case you are already started your journey, right, is nothing but we need to verify the product with the expectation. Expectation means it will be documented in some the requirement document. It can be BRD, business requirement document, software requirement document, software specification document, it can be. And from that we will be trying to first going through the requirement, identify the scenario, writing the test cases. Then whenever we will be doing the execution, we will try to find out any deviation is there in the actual expectation, and any deviation, it will be logged as a defect, right. It can be sometimes small project used to keep everything in the Excels, and big project sometimes use some defect management tool. It can be ALM, Jira, Azure DevOps, everything, right. So lot of testing tester used to do also. So tester used to test AUT, which is application under test, right. And first, like developer used to, whenever as part of SDLC or STLC software testing lifecycle or is software development lifecycle, first once the development is done, they will try to do the unit testing by themselves. Then it will come to the testing standpoint, right. We will be doing the system testing. Once system is integrated, it will be going for the system integration testing, which is SIT, and then we will go for the E2E. Once E2E is done, right, and before that we can go some regression testing, and definitely performance testing can be done to see whether it is performing well, it is load is able to take system expected load, right. And also the acceptance usability testings can be done by the customers, right, to see whether they got the intended product or not. Before going to the customer end, they will be doing some UAT testings, right. and that's why testing will be completed and the product will be deployed to the in actual real time production environment. And still any problem that will be supported by the BAU part, business as usual, right? So what is error, fault and failure? Why we are doing the testing, right? So we are doing the testings to prevent any failure. So error means in case we are doing any mistakes, then error will come, right? And in case we are not handling the error, the fault will be there, and because of fault, failure will be there. So that is a simple term, right? Error is the intentional or unintentional mistake we are doing. Because of error, fault can come, and in case fault may be there, but we need to handle the fault. Otherwise, failure will be there. So that is the simple terminology of the software life cycle. Especially for the testing, you need to remember these three terms. How error can occur in the systems, right? Suppose developer is doing the development, suppose they are not good in the development, they do not have much coding knowledge, they are really junior person, they did not given proper training, and also human being, they can do some mistake, right? Intentionally, unintentionally, there can be some miscommunication, poor requirement, right? And sometimes they are working on the pressure, multiple projects, so they to meet the deadline, sometimes they intentionally forgot something. Sometimes the technology or the complexity of technology is really there, right? Sometimes environment condition is not up to the mark, right? Documentation is not good, that is the reason sometimes error can be there. And because of error, fault will be there, and in case we are not able to solve the fault early, so failure will be there. So from the software testing standpoint, still life cycle standpoint, we should discover any kind of error in as early as possible, because in the later stage, the cost of fixing will be more and more. In the early stage, the fixing cost will be less. Software testing principles. What are the different principles? So first principle is that we need to meet the business requirement, right? Customer requirement. So whatever customer requirement is saying, we have to go. We cannot definitely we can apply our thought process, but definitely we have to rely on the customer requirement. Software testing should be performed by independent third party, right? So that it should not be done by the developer. Exhaustive testing is not possible, as we need to optimal amount of testing based on the risk assessment of the application. Sometimes in case we are not able to do the testing completely, we can go for the risk based approach, RBT, risk based testing. Okay, all the tests to be conducted should be planned before implementing it, in case we are trying to implement it, right, in the production. So before that, all kind of testing already discussed, right, we should do it. After that, once testing is satisfied, no major or blocker defect is there, even medium defect, there is some workaround, then we can deploy the code in the production environment. It follows Pareto rules, means 80% defects come from the 20% area. So 20% area is that very complex to our systems, and most of the 80% defects only come from that area. So whenever as and when you will be experiencing more in that applications or in that area, so you will be knowing that what are the critical functionality. So we have to test more, we have to give more focus on the 20% area, because 80% problems only come from that area, right? Start testing with small part and extend to a large part. We need to start with smaller part, unit testing, then system integration testing, then end-to-end testing. All this stuff should happen. Once your product is stabilized, then you can go for the regression testing. In case find out anything, then kind of other testing, performance testing you can do, right? Early testing saves time and money, right? As early as possible, if you start testing, you can identify the error, and definitely it will help you, right, to kind of fix the defect early, and it will save the cost of throughout your life cycle. Automation testing is nothing. So whatever we are trying to run manually, so definitely we will try to run automatically. Means we will implement them with some programming, with some tool, relevant tool, with the help of programming language, with the help of framework, right? But objective will be still same. Instead of manual run, once you write the code, and we will run it multiple times. That is the main objective. We will write once and we will execute multiple times. So only more time will be there for your developing it and dry run and fixing it. Once everything is developed, you can run anytime. You can run 10 times in a day for the small project, right? But it will take minimal time, because it will be system driven. You no need to do anything, right? Even you can integrate it. Even nightly basis also you can run it. So it will try to run on the nightly basis, and in the morning you can get the result in your email in case of any failure or success, all this stuff, right? So automation testing is useful for the below aspect. Functional testing, you can automate regression, smoke or sanity, build deployment, and sometimes automation testing is required to the test data creation. Because suppose say to execute some test case, some data I would require, right, as part of my prerequisite. So same thing I need to run it manually, right? Multiple times it will take much time. But if you automate it and if you run the code, I can get 100 data in a couple of minutes, right? So before performing automation testing for the below mentioned scenario of the software, right, requirement do not change frequently. You need to make sure the requirement do not change frequently. Steady software with respect to manual testing. Time crunch on shortage of the time for the test activity, big project, and project which requires to test same functionality often. So you need to see that, like, whenever you are automating same things, at least need to run couple of times, otherwise your whatever cost you are implementing, right, whatever effort you are spending, that will not get it returned, right? And definitely your code should get freezed, right? Your product should stabilize enough, requirements should not change, right? So that's way, right, you can go for the automation testing. There are multiple tools available in the market for the automation. Few are licensed, few are free tools. Selenium, right? I mean FEM. I think Test Engine, all are free tools. Test Engine generally is a framework. Generally is primarily used for the developer, whereas Test Engine is used by the testers. But whereas UFT, RFT, Tosca, Silk, these are the license tool. You have to go for some licensing. Some are like UI based, some for the web based application, some for the client server based application, some for Windows based application, some for mobile testing. So I have tried to give everything in my PPT. You can go through once more time all the PPT, so that like you will get more inputs. There are different components of Selenium. So first it was started with Selenium ID, right? After that Selenium RC came, and Selenium RC and WebDriver integrated to Selenium 3, and Selenium Grid is also there for parallel testing. So Selenium remote control, and with the help of initially Selenium ID or integrate data environment was available, which is nothing but a Firefox plugin. You can only run and play. You can run and you can run and play. You can record and play. Only that mechanism available. Now you can definitely enhance your script, but with the help of Selenium remote control or RC and WebDriver, right, we can definitely communicate directly to the browser, right? Selenium Grid, right, used for parallel testing across different machines, different browsers. Same test case you can run for different browser, different machines with the help of Selenium Grid. Okay, advantage of Selenium. Okay, so definitely Selenium is open source and free software, and hence there is no licensing cost for its usage, right? So scripting can be done in most of the widely used programming language. It can be C#, right, Java, Ruby, Perl, PH, and Python, right? It can be used in multiple OS, just like the MS Windows, Mac, and Linux. It supports most of the popular browsers like Chrome, Firefox, Internet Explorer, Opera, and Safari. Selenium Grid helps in parallel and distributed testing. It uses less hardware resources. Suppose comparatively UFT, where it is required 3 to 4 GB hardware, Selenium only requires like 256 MB hardware. Okay, so definitely I mean Selenium is having more advantage, but still every product or every tool is having some disadvantage. So Selenium WebDriver requires programming language, with programming language just like Tosca, it is require less programming language you can develop, right? But definitely each and every tool has pros and cons, but still Selenium is a free tool. It's available in the market, so no proper vendor support can be there because it's a free tool, right? Object repository, any kind of customization, you have to rely on your own programming skill or other dependency, right? So definitely Selenium does not have these features inbuilt, so you have to go for other plugins. So prerequisite for Selenium WebDriver. Okay, so before going to the prerequisite, anyone have any questions? So I can still answer it from the previous topics, whatever has been covered. Is it good? I think few already I covered in the demonstration. Still I have tried to cover it high level part. So you can go through the PPT, and definitely and also you will refer the recordings, right, in case still you are not comfortable. In case I am too fast, right, I will definitely try to slow my speeds. Okay, so is it fine, right? I can proceed to the next one.
Yes, yes.
Okay,
Yes, fine.
okay. So the prerequisite of the Selenium WebDriver. So definitely we need to install right first is the Java should be there in your system. So this is the path already given here. So you can install Java. So whatever version with that path, you can just go to the Java JDK and then you can install, right? In case your system is Mac, you can go for Mac. If the system is Windows, you can go for Windows, and you need to check your bits of the systems. Is it 34 bit or 64 bit? So how can you check your system's bit? Right, systems properties. So you select this computer or my computer, this PC, like that, and then right click and click on the my properties. So you will find here, right, that system type and operating system. Here you can see Windows 10 home, single language, and system type is 64 operating system, right? So based on that, everything you will be getting from here. So based on that, you need to install the Java. Once Java is installed, right, in your system, you need to add few properties, right, environment variables. So you need to go click on the my computer, then advanced system settings, then you need to go to the environment variables, right, and you need to click a Java underscore home, right. This is the Java underscore home, and you need to go to that JDK folder, and in the path variable you also need to add it, right. How you will be adding it? If you want to add here new here, you need to click on new and Java underscore home, and then you can give the path here, and in the path variable, if you double click here, you need to add the path after clicking on the new here. So it will be till the bin. So I already installed Java in my system. So how can you give it? So you can, after installation, it will be in your C drive, and it will be your program files, and here you can find Java, right. And so this is the 1.8, 1.10, everything is still, but I have configured 1.10. So this will go to the JDK folder. So that will be your Java path, and that will be your path variable till the bin folder. So that's the two part you need to give it. And if you still want to check what is your version already installed here, press Windows R, click CMD, command prompt will open. Here you can type Java JVA -version. Okay, so that is the part you can give it. Okay, you can see here the Java versions is 1.0.1, environment variable, everything you can get it. This is the path also. Okay, so that's why you can check it. You can check, but Java is the first prerequisite. Okay, and once Java is installed, you need to add in the system variables. Okay, one is the path variable, one is the Java underscore home. So that is the prerequisite. After that, you can definitely check whether it has been properly set up or not. Then you need to install Eclipse. Okay, so this is the path already given. So you can go for any versions, right. So I already had Eclipse installed. So once you open the Eclipse, it will ask you for some settings and workspace. Once workspace is set, so this project will no longer be visible because I have created this project. That is the reason coming. Otherwise, it will look like that, right. So you can find lot of options. File. You can create new project. You can import some project. You can export some project. In case you already worked with some project, you will be getting it here, right. You can switch workspace in case you are having multiple workspace. Sometime you in case of any problem, you need to restart it, right. And here if you want to search and you have a 100 project, you can search it with that options, right. You can suppose close some project, you can clean your Eclipse. So that's that, and you can run your code from here, right. So the rest of the different options available primarily which will be using going forward in the Eclipse. So that is the second part. So first is Java, then the Eclipse. Any ID, okay, relevant ID should be there. It can be Eclipse. So I mostly used the Eclipse only, and then Selenium HQ or Selenium WebDriver. So Selenium WebDriver, why it is required? Because Selenium WebDriver consists lot of classes as interface, right. So once you import that particular package, so it will give you the Selenium whatever already developed as part of Selenium. So you can use them once you import them. So after we go to the path, you need to import it. So that is the Selenium 3.4 versions 1 available. I have installed it. Okay. Any problem still we can solve it. I think it's already covered in the demo session as well. You can go through the video in case you are having any trouble. Then once my Selenium WebDriver or Selenium jar files is also installed, so I will go for the last step. Suppose in case you want to automate with the Chrome drivers, right, Chrome browsers, you have to go to the Chrome driver, right. If you want to automate with the Gcode driver, you can go for the Firefox browser. It will be, you need to install Gcode driver. In case it's I browser, you need to install the I driver. So that is the path. But before downloading, you need to remember that whatever browsers you are having, right, version you are having, so you need to install appropriate browser supported, version supported driver. So suppose say I am using right, I am using suppose say Chrome here, right. So you can see this is the versions, right, this is the different versions you will be using. So for that particular version you need to install it. If you go to the help, you will be getting a Google Chrome. Okay, so this is the version, right, 94, it has been updated to 94. So you have to install the browser for the 94 supported, right. So if you go to that PPT here, if you open any of the link here, suppose for the Chrome browser, if I want to install the Chrome driver, so you can go to that link here. So all the link already provided here, no need to worry. So this is my version number is 94. I can go here and I need to install the Chrome driver relevant to 94. If you install other browser, it will not allow you. It will throw some error that browser is not compatible, right? So driver is not compatible with the browser. So you can see for the 94, this we need to install that one from that link. If your browser is 97, 93, you need to use 91, you need to use the relevant one. You can see lot of browser is there. In case your browser is 90, 89, so you need to install that one. So that's why you have to go with that way. Okay. So once this 4 thing is there, so I already installed here. This is my G-code driver for Firefox browser, and this is my Chrome driver. Already installed my desktop. You can install any other folder in your laptop or desktop. Okay. So this is the 4 prerequisite. One is Java definitely should be there. Any versions above 1.8 is fine. Even 1.7 also fine. Nowadays 1. I think 17, 16 is available. Okay. Eclipse, you need to install any Eclipse ID. After that you need to install the Selenium jar files. Then you need to install the appropriate drivers, right? Chrome driver, G-code driver or iDriver, whatever browser you want to perform, right? So then I will be opening the Eclipse here. I already open it. So once everything is installed, everything is set up, I will be creating a new project. You can click on the file, new, and then project, or you can create a Java project. So by default project will be Java, or you can create directly Java project. So here you can give a name. Okay. Whenever you are giving the project name, no space should be there. Selenium session October 21 batch. So no space should be there. You can give any alphabetic character also, but no space should be there. Always use an execution environment. Okay, always that option. And here try to set, though your Java version is 1.7 is available, try to set 1.7 or 1.8. Do not set more than that, otherwise it can create a lot of problems. Okay, so that is the 2 part you need to select. Okay, automatically your JDK will be installed based on the settings you are having. Okay, then you need to click on finish. So your project will be created. Selenium sessions October 21 batch. You can see here that is already created here. Now if you expand it, you will be seeing 2 file and folder. One is JRE system library, means all the Java related, because you are creating a Java project. So all the Java related interfaces, class, everything will be added here. So that is the reason when you want to call in the project, right, you will be getting them. And one SRC file will be there, nothing will be there in the SRC folder, right, or file folder. Okay. So Java automatically you already got in the project, but now other than Java I am not having anything. So once your project is created in the SRC folder, right click only. Okay, and you need to create a package. So that is the structure: project, package, and then class. I'll be creating a package here, training, and you can click on the finish. Here in the training, you can, in the SRC folder you can create multiple packages, but in the one package should be there. And after that, in the package, right click and click on the new and then class. Okay, so say I can give it season 1. Okay, and here I can select the public static void main arguments, string argument. This is the main function. Right now, no need to worry. So first 2 sessions I will try to cover from the Selenium part. Then I will go for the Java. Whenever I will be teaching you the Java, you can get everything know, right? What is main function, why is so all this stuff. So right now this is the main method. So in case you are creating any Java class, there will be main method should be there. Okay, but in case you are using TestNG, there is no main method is required. You can directly run your test cases from the TestNG. So definitely we will be getting to know slow by slow, step by step. Okay, so that's why once your class is created, you will be seeing here in the that section. Okay, you can see here. So that is your project, this is the folder, that is the package, that is the class, right? Session 1. And you can session 1.java because the extension will be Java. You can remove that portion, right? So if you want to run a fast program here, so you can see this is the package, this is the class name, this is the main function. So your execution will start from the main function. So if you give so and press Control Enter from your keyboard, Control Enter, at the same time you will be getting the so method where you can write something, so that will be printed in your console. That is the console location of the Eclipse. So you need to select that so. Otherwise you can write it out, no need to worry. Yeah, Harpreet, are you having any questions? Hello? Is it good or any doubt? Okay, fine. Okay, so here you can give that part. Okay, suppose say you can mute yourself please. My first Java code, right? So that is the part. So in the main method you can type it here.
Your screen is not showing. Unable to see your screen.
Okay, maybe it has not presented. Okay, let's see presented now. Okay, now are you able to see my screen? Yeah, okay, fine. Okay, so that is the code I have written. So I want to print it, that part in the console, because this is the method. See, so method, this is the main method, right? Your execution in the Java will start from the main method. Okay, not before main method. So it will start only after the main method. You need to remember. So in whenever I will be covering from the third session, I will be covering Java completely. You can get to visualize it, right? So for the first two sessions, Java will be really required less. So that is the reason, that is fine. So you can see now you can get it, right? My Java code. So that's what is done. So that's why you can write your first code in the Java. Okay. So now I have already installed my Eclipse. I already installed my Java, so that is the reason I am able to run the code, right? Java. Then now I need to go for the third step, right? Which is nothing but the Selenium WebDriver. So Selenium WebDriver I have installed. I need to associate in the project, right? So I need to select the project. I need to right click and need to go to the properties. Okay. I need to go to the Java build path, and here I need to go to the libraries tab, and I need to add external jars. So that is the navigation. Then in the desktop it's already there, Selenium, right? Standalone Java file. I need to add it. Right now you can see the structure. There is two folders. One is the SRC folder, one is the JRD system library. No other folder is available. Right now, as and when you are associating that jar file and you are clicking on the applying and close, immediately there will be folder created, right? Reference library. So those jar files will be available here now. Right, you can see that's file. If you expand it, you will be finding multiple packages, right? Because this is already developed, already inbuilt in the Selenium, and you can get all the important interface classes, methods, right, from that particular packages. Because that particular jar file is associated in the project. That is the reason in the project itself, if you are creating any packages and any class, so everything will be able to access those particular two packages, right? One is the Java related program and one is the reference library, which is nothing, Selenium 3.14 jar file. So these three are done. Then I am having the fourth one, right? Which is, suppose I want to run it in my Chrome browser. So I already had my Chrome driver installed. So from that path, based on the browser setup, right? This is the Chrome driver and this is the G-code driver. I already had it. Okay. Now I will try to write few lines of code so that I can interact, right? I can interact with those driver, means those the browsers with the help of those drivers. So here I will go for that class whatever I have written, and in the main method I will try system dot, okay, sorry, S will be capitals here because Java is case sensitive, please remember. Okay, system system dot set property. So system is a class. If you press dot, all the important method available under the system, it will be get, you can get it from where it is coming. It is coming from that particular folder, Java packages. System dot set properties, right? So here we will two path, one is the key, one is the value, and the key, if you want to deal with the Chrome driver, it will be web driver dot Chrome dot driver. So that is the path you need to give within the double bracket, double quote. Okay, that is the first path, which is the key. And value, what will be the value, right? So value will be your path of the Chrome driver. So let's try to right click here and try to click on the properties, so you will be getting the path. So you need to give the full path. Okay, so that is your path, and also you need to give the file name and the extension also. So everything will be in double quote, here double quote, and then you need to give slash slash and then name the exe file, which is Chrome driver, and the extension is .exe. So I will be giving that complete path .exe. So that is the path I need to give it. And everything in Java, all the lines of code we need to end with semicolon. Okay, so you can see that part I already added. No error message is there right now, right? System dot set property, this is the key, web driver dot Chrome dot driver, and the path of the Chrome driver. So in case we need to use the Chrome browser, then I need to create a object or instance for the web driver, right? Because the Chrome driver I need to use. So I will be creating an object or instance for the web driver, which is the interface in Selenium web driver. Okay, so please remember, web driver, W will be caps, D will be caps, or other rest will be in lower, lower case. Web driver. So here Chrome driver class I need to use. So lot of interviewer will ask lot of questions here. Okay, so please remember, web driver is the interface and Chrome driver is the class. Specifically you need to, and you can see after reading the code, lot of error messages coming. Chrome driver cannot be resolved to a time, web driver cannot be resolved to a time. So you need to import those lines of code, right, from the relevant driver, sorry, from the Selenium jar file, right? So I can import it. So if you click on the, you can see import web driver, which is coming from the org.openq.selenium package. So web driver is the interface. So I will be describing what is interface and what is class in the Java sessions. No need to worry. So it is a class. It is coming from that packages. Once the import is successful, you can see that is the reference, right, from where I am getting these two different part. What is the web driver interface? What is the Chrome driver? So a lot of interviewer will ask lot of question, but here is a lot of confusion is there. Please be remember that we need to create an object or instance for the web driver interface with the help of relevant Chrome driver class or Firefox driver class or iDriver class. So for the interface, we cannot directly create an object or instance, but for the class we can create an object or instance directly. So that is the reason, in case we want to create a object, we want to try to create a web driver interface, so object for the interfaces, right? So we need to use the relevant class. Okay, so that's why I can create it. After that, with that driver, right, if I want to sorry, if I want to use that driver, now you can see there is error message gone, red error message gone, but it's warning message there, right? Because the driver, whatever object I have created, I did not use anywhere. That is the warning message is showing, that means you did not use, you can use it now. So that is the difference between the error message and the warning message. Okay, now I will be using driver dot get. With the help of driver dot get, I can go to an URL. Okay, so here you can see, so from where get method is coming, WebDriver interface it is coming, and return type, this is showing return type, means it will not return anything in the console. That is the reason return type is void. So get method, whatever is coming from the WebDriver interface, because WebDriver interface I have used and I have created an object or instance, right? You can see the type is string, so it will be string. In case it is a numeric only integer, you need to enter integer, and it will be one argument, it will be there. Okay, and return type will be void. In case return type is there, definitely it will return something, it will print in the console, right? It returns something, but here there is no returning, only void. Only it will perform the actions, and I can pass the URL here in the double quote. So any URL I want to use, right, I can give it. Suppose say I want to open Google here, or I want to open Facebook, so I can give the URL directly. Okay, after that, any questions? Yeah, sure.
I'm not familiar with these kind of things, like all this kind of coding because I never done like.
No problem, no need to worry. So you will learn everything. So this is the first session. So first two sessions you will be might get difficulty because Java I did not teach you. So then from the session 3 onward, I will be completely teach Java. Once you are comfortable Java, then you will be able to visualize it. But right now, no need to use it. Java, no need of use of Java right now. Only the basic syntax, only the main method and that SOISO method, all this stuff. But this is the basic part. Okay, so first we need to set the properties. Okay, this will be common in nature everywhere. So you need to remember this 3 line of code every time.
Okay.
So that will be common. Okay, so first we need to set the properties for the any browsers, whatever you want to use. In case it is a Chrome browser, it will be webdriver.chrome.driver. In case it is a Firefox browser, it will be webdriver.gcode.driver. In case it is iDriver, I browser you want to use it, it will be webdriver.i.driver, and you need to give the path here of that particular driver with the extension. So whatever is saved in your desktop or other location, right? Okay. Then you will be creating a object or instance. So definitely whenever you are working on a framework, right, or a tools, you need to learn some programming language. That is the reason Java will be covered, basic and advanced, whatever is really required. So initial times you need to spend more effort. Definitely for the first times you are going through the live session. After that you need to go through the PPT, whatever I will be sharing. You need to go to the recordings once or 2 more times, and I will be sharing the code, right? You need to also practice yourself but 1 or 2 times. So after that you will gain some confidence, and after that you will try, you will get some interest thing. Okay, so that's why it will, I mean, it will gain the interest within you, and definitely it will help you to to cope whatever you want to learn. Definitely, in case you do not have any knowledge, prior knowledge, but that is not required. But requirement is that you need to spend additional time to practice them. Okay, after whatever session I will be covering today and tomorrow, if you practice them for 8 to 10 hours, I can guarantee that you will be comfortable. After that, the remaining session you will be learn very easily. So initial few days time you need to go through the recordings few more times. You need to understand how I am trying to record. I am trying to teach you. You need to go through the code multiple times. You need to go through the documentation. So then only you will be habituated initial time. Because everything, in case you are learning new thing, what you do not know anything, it will take some time for you, right? Because if you do not have any coding language, so it will take some time. Because in case you are starting some C, C++, Java, anything, it will be very tough for you the initial day. But if you cope up for some initial, if you whatever hurdle you will initially facing, if you overcome those, it will be really easy for you. Okay, nothing is rocket science. Everything can be taught. I mean, we can learn it, but initial time we need to spend additional effort. Okay. Yeah. So then we will be giving it. Right now, if I want to print something in the console, so here 3 lines will not print anything, it will just perform the operation, right? Suppose I want to print something, so I can use that SOISO method here. So what I can print, I can use the driver properties with the help of driver, right? So driver dot I can use, right, get title of the page, or I can get current URL, I can get page source. So I want to get the title of the page. Okay, so these are the lines of code I have written here. Now if you run your code, you can see it will be giving you the whatever output you want to print in the console. As soon as you will try to run the code, it will first launch a browsers and it will pass the URL for the Facebook page, then it will give you the title. So that is the first line of code you can try to learn, try to start with the coding part. Okay, so it will try to launch that Facebook URL. Once it is launched successfully, it will not close because I did not written any code so far for closing the browser. You can see Facebook page is getting loaded. Okay, so that is the objective of our code, right? But driver is not getting maximized, the browser is not getting maximized because it did not so whatever browser is opening, so it is still trying to load the page. Now I can close the page, and if I go to the right console, I can see this is the title, I can get it. Now after opening the driver, if I want to maximize the page, so definitely by default it should be 100% maximization. Driver dot manage dot window. So that is the few line of code you will really habituated with few days. So right now you just need to remember those dot maximize.
Another, hello,
Yeah. Hello.
hello.
Yes, yes, I am able to hear you.
Yeah, yeah. Your voice is sometimes your voice is getting stuck.
Okay, 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 fine. Yeah. So driver dot manage dot window dot maximize, right? Dot maximize. So that is the line of code. But you can see, is it good or any problem? Still problem is coming.
Sometimes I can see.
Okay,
Sometimes
okay,
actually it totally got get stuck. So miss I was skipping some things.
okay, okay, okay.
Maybe due to slow connection or
Right,
something.
right, might be. So it will be that the from where it is coming, it is coming from the window class, and the maximum is the method name and return type is void. So it will not return anything, just it will perform the operation, right? And then after maximizing, I am passing the URL for the Facebook page, and I am printing the title. Instead of title, I can print the current URL also. So driver dot current URL. Okay, get current URL, I can get it and then I can print it. Okay, then I can close it. Driver dot close or quit, any browser you can use. Okay, so you can close it. So that is the lines of code I have written. First I want to set the properties for the Chrome driver. I will be creating a object code instance for the WebDriver interface with the help of Chrome driver class. I am maximizing the driver, whatever browser I will try to maximize it. Then I will be passing the Facebook URL. Then in the console I want to get the current URL and I want to quit the browser or close the browser. So let's run it from here also. Okay, there's one option, I can run it from here, or you can right click and you can run as Java application. So here you can see the code is not looks good, it is a left assignment, all this stuff happen. So if you want to do something, you can go to the source, right? You can shift right, shift left, or you can do the format, or you can do press control shift F at the same time, it will be formatted. Okay, you can see. So whatever lines of code you are writing automatically formatted. Control shift F for the formatting. So you can write your code, after that you can do the formatting, so it will look good for you can visualize it, right? So also right click here, run as and Java application. This is the two way to run your code. So you need to select the class, can see it is launching the Chrome browsers. Once it's launched, it will try to maximize it based on the code you have written. Then you will try to enter the URL for the Facebook page. Okay, it will try to launch the page fully. I mean load the page fully. Because of sometimes internet connections, it not be possible. So, okay, but maybe it might okay. Otherwise, it will try to launch the complete page. Once the page is fully loaded, it will quit closing the browser. You can see browser is got closed because I have written the lines of code, right? And now in the print right part, you can get the current URL because that is equivalent, right? Whatever URL you are getting, it will be giving you. So that's why you can try to interact, right, with the different properties. And in case if you want to interact with the Firefox driver, you need to only change it to Gcko. For the Firefox, it will be Gcko, otherwise same. And here you need to give the path of your Gcko driver. It will be gckodriver.exe. Okay.
Your screen is not visible.
Okay. Okay. Okay, let's me run once more time. So the lines of code I have written. So I have formatted it with the help of Ctrl Shift A. So I am trying to launch the Chrome driver, want to maximize it, want to load the Facebook page. Once the page is fully loaded, it will give me the current URL and it will quit the browser. So right now I am able to view it, right? Okay, so let's try to run it from here once more time. So it is running. It will open the Chrome browsers. Once the browser is loaded fully, it will try to maximize it. After that, it will launch the Facebook page. Once the page is fully loaded, it will close the browser. So that is the lines of code I have written so far. Okay, it is trying to launch the page fully. Once the page is fully loaded only, then it will quit the browser. So it might take some time based on the right. It is quitting the browser. You can in the console you can get the output of the current URL because I have used the current URL. Okay, so that's why we can delete. Now I was saying, suppose in case you want to run with the Chrome browser, Firefox browser, right? So you need to only here you need to change Gcko driver instead of Chrome, and you need to give up the Firefox driver. And here web driver will be still same because it is interface. And here instead of Chrome driver it will be right Gcko. Firefox driver. Similarly for the IE it will be IE driver, and here it will be IE dot driver. Otherwise rest of the line of code is still same for the different driver. So I also already given it here. Okay, the sample lines of code here. Okay, for the Chrome driver, for the Firefox driver, no need to worry. Okay, then that part I will be giving in the last part section for today's session. So I already covered right how to get the title, right? So driver.getTitle, and if you want to print them out SYSO, you can get the title, or you can store in some string. Okay, because the title will be different string and you can print them. So whatever lines of code I have written here, right? So say instead of directly printing them, right? So that is the one way. It will output will be still same. In case you want to use that in multiple times, so you can first driver dot get current URL say. Okay, so here let's remove it. I'm saying you why I am just removing it. So driver press dot get current URL. You can see now get current URL, right? You can see the return type is string. So you need to store in the string, and it is coming from the web driver class. Return type is not void, right? So driver dot get return type is void. That means you don't need to store anywhere. But here return type is string, so you need to store in the string. No need to worry. In the Java session, it will be clear, getting more clarity. Okay, so I will be storing in some string variable. String, suppose variable name I am giving get current URL. That is the variable name I am defining. Just like the driver I have given, right? Then I can print it out. That one, instead of directly giving the line of code, I will be printing it out. That one. So output will be still same. Okay, there is no difference in this line and these two line. This two line and this line is same, exactly same. Okay, but the important is that if you want to use that part multiple times, right? So here multiple time you have to write that complete part, but here as you are storing that properties into the string gc URL variable, so you can directly call that variable. Okay, instead of writing complete part, right? Divert.get URL multiple times. So that is the only difference. Similar way, title I already showed, right? You can get the title. Source page means if you want to, if there's some developer want to get the source page, right? So suppose in case you open some page, right, and you want to get the source page, right? You can definitely get. Suppose I already open the Google page. So if you right click here, there's an option, right? View page source. So that will give you with the help of that get source page method. You can get that. So this is the three important methods available in the WebDriver interfaces for web page operation Selenium WebDriver. Then another few important API commands, right? I will try to show you, right? Which is specially deal with the WebDriver. One is get. You already know what is the importance of get, right? So to navigate to the internet web page, so divert.get I am already using it, right? Divert.get. Okay, so that part I am already using. So this is the get method. So with the help of get, I can navigate to the intended web page. Okay, then close or quit, right? I can close the current driver, or in case you are having multiple driver, I can quit it. Close, I already use it. Close or quit does not make any difference here, in case you are having one browser. Then one is the get, right? Another one is that navigate.to, with which also I can navigate to a particular URL. Okay, so let's use that one. Okay, I already used it. Let's, before closing the driver, let's try to use driver dot navigate, right? You can see this is navigation. Again it will be coming another one dot to. Here return type is void. It is coming from the navigation class, and this is the argument we need to give it. So suppose I want to open another web page. So first I am opening Facebook, then I want to open Google, right? So I will be giving it, right? Then I want to print the current URL once the Google page is fully loaded, right? Every time I can get the current URL. Then I can navigate back, just like the back and forward, right? So it will be driver dot navigate dot back, right? Similarly, after back is done, I can again forward it, right? Driver dot navigate dot forward. You can see, so it will forward me, right? So that's the different line of code I have tried to write here. So based on the different API commands. Okay, refresh in case your page is not fully loaded for some reason, so you can use that one. So it will try to refresh the page, just like a F5 button. Okay, and maximize I already covered. To maximize the focused browser, driver object means the driver object whatever you are creating dot manage dot window dot maximize. So I have written down everything. You no need to worry. Now are you able to visualize it? Whatever I am writing it. Are you able to visualize, or you are still having any doubt whatever lines of code we have written so far? Is it looks good? Okay. So definitely 1 or 2 sessions it might take some problem, right, for you. Okay, no need to worry. But yeah, so I mean down the line it will be settled down. Okay, once because this is also required. I cannot go to Java directly, because otherwise I will give you the brief about the setup. So it again Java you will not able to understand completely. So that is the reason first 2 sessions where Java is really less required, I will be covered. Then once you go the basic part, then I will be go for the Java. I will end Java, then I will go for the remaining Selenium WebDriver, and then I will start with the different framework part. The TestNG, then Maven project, then other way. Okay. So now let's try to run my code, whatever lines of code I have written. So now you can you can see the way we are trying to return our code, right? It will first open the Chrome browsers. Once the browser is open, it will try to maximize it to the full scale. Then it will try to load the Facebook page. Then again it will try to navigate to the other page, right? the Google page. Then it will back to the Facebook page again. You can see it is backing to the Facebook page. Then it will again forward to the Google page, right? Then it will quit the browser. So that is the write-up code we have written. Okay, it is working perfectly fine. And here, after opening the Facebook page, what is the current URL? The Facebook. I want to print it out in the console. And after the opening the Google page, right, I want to get the current URL, so that is my current URL. So it is working completely fine, right? So that are the different lines of code I can definitely write for the different API command. And if the one not a single page is not loaded completely, you can use that command driver.navigate.refresh. So these are the very powerful API command you need to use multiple times throughout your journey in the automation. Okay. Then this is the last part, two part I will cover it. Before that I will cover that one, different element locator technique. So now we already know how to handle the driver, how to handle the browser, right? Then now I will show you how to identify different element. What is element all about? Okay. So what is locator? So here, suppose say in case if you open any page, right? So definitely there will be multiple object, right? It can be link, it can be image, it can be text, it can be button, right? It can be hyperlink, link, everything. So each and everything in the web page will be considered as a web element, right? So first, if you want to interact with the web element, so you need to get the properties of the web element, right? And so once you get the property, right? So you can, after that you can perform the intended operation. So in case it's edit box, right? You can enter something here, right? You can enter something in case it is edit box, right? In case it is a link, you can click it. In case it is a button, in case also click. In case it is hyperlink, you can click it. So based on the different type, you can perform the different operation. In case this is image, in case it is a text only feed, you can only get the properties, right? What is the text available, what is the type of the text, all this stuff, right? So a locator is nothing, right, but which can be termed as an address that identifies a web element uniquely within the web page. Locator are the HTML properties of a web element. Web element locator are common for all browsers, so it does not vary. In case you are opening from the Chrome browser, IE browser or Firefox browser, your web element properties will be always the same. It will not vary, right? There are multiple different web element can be available, right? It can be tables, frame, all this stuff. I'll be covering everything how you can interact up in the upcoming sessions. So how to inspect a web element? What are the properties is there? How can you identify it, right? So you need to first open the web page. You need to open any browser and then web page. You need to press F12 button here. Suppose say I want to open the Facebook page. After that I want to identify that particular field, right, or button or link. Then I need to press F12 button from my keyboard. F12 button. So once you press F12 button, you can see that section will be automatically open. Okay. So that is the inspect element, right? If you click here and you can mouse over, right, to any field, it will give you all the property. So for the email or phone number field, you can see the properties input. This is the tag name of the web element. Whenever developer used to develop that code, that is the tag name. For input, it will be tag name will be input. In case it is a link, tag name will be A or anchor. In case it is image, tag name will be image, img or src. In case it is a table, it will be table, right? td, tr, table, then table header, then table row, all this tr, td, all this stuff will be there. Okay. In case it is a normal field, it will be div, all this stuff. So you can see input type equal to text means text field. Okay. Then name equal to email, id equal to email. These are the unique properties, right, through which we can identify a page. Identify a web element. Okay. Then we need to mouse over that inspector icon, and we need to settle down for any field and to get the properties. So once we highlight it, definitely from here we can get the properties, right, directly. Or if we want, you can copy the properties. So how can you copy? Just select the cursor, right click here, right, you can get copy, copy the element, okay, and press open any notepad, okay, and just press it, so that it will be it easily you can identify it, name, email, ID. So whenever you are trying to identify any element, right, it should be, an attribute should be unique in nature, so that you can uniquely identify it, right. So these are the different element locators available in Selenium WebDriver, through which we can uniquely identify the element. In case we are not able to identify uniquely, we need to create our own XPath or CSS selector. So primary is the ID, name, class name, tag name, link text, partial link text. So link text and partial link text only used for the link or hyperlink. In case we are not having identify anything with any of the attribute, we will create our own XPath and CSS. So I will show you how we can create our own customized CSS or XPath. Okay. So whenever you want to identify with any element locator techniques, it will be driver dot find element, then by, right, then dot element locator, and this is the value of the element locator. Okay. So here if you want to interact with Facebook page, right, so first here language somehow it got set to Bengali, so I need to set the language to English, then I can interact with, otherwise it is showing Bengali word, and Bengali word I will not able to understand in my code, right. So first I will change it to English, right, so that part I can change it, then I will be identifying any field. Okay, let's try to change it to English. So you can see whenever trying to change it English, right, this is the link, and right, and whenever I will be identify with the link, so text need to be given, right. So let's try to identify with link. Yeah, any questions? No, I am okay. Okay, I am saying that it is a complete link only. Okay, let me connect with that mobile network. Okay, 1 second. In case my Wi-Fi is creating problem, I will be connecting my mobile network. Hold for a minute. Okay, so I was saying that in case it is a link or hyperlink, right, definitely we can proceed with link or partial link text. In case it is a normal field, input field, we can go for ID, right, okay, and other part. Okay, and in case we are not able to identify anything through name, ID, right, class name, or link text or partial link text, we will be going for the default CSS or CSS selector or XPath, and then we will be creating Are you able to hear me now? And are you able to hear me now? Yeah, my network got disconnected, so I have tried to connect with mobile Wi-Fi. Is it good?
Yeah, now it's better, I think.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah. Okay. So I was saying that in case we are not able to identify the ID, name, class name, link, partial links, we will go for the CSS or XPath. So here for that one, right, for that Facebook page, right, whatever we are trying to automate. So by default it is Bengali, right? You can see that part is Bengali. So first we will be trying to change it to English, right? So I need to identify the element, and I need to click on it. It is a link, right? So you can see the title is link. So I will go for link text here. So here let's comment out these lines of code whatever we have written here. Okay, so till that web page, so here you can source and you can add comment, right? You can add block comments. It will be commented out. Code will be there, but it will not be in the execution. So it will be there. You can use as and when required. You no need to remove it, right? You can comment it out. So I will be using driver dot find element, and I will be inspecting that link with the help of by text or link text, right? Dot by dot link text. You can see this coming, right? Because it is written here. So if you want to link text, driver dot find element by dot link text and the value of the link text. So what is the value here? So value is that one. You need to completely give it. So with that I can identify that link, right, attribute, and then it is a link. I will press click, because it is a link. I need to click on the link. Then next one is that once it is change to English, right, then I can everything I will be get in English. Okay, and then definitely I can enter something in of the ID or password field. Now you can see this English. Now you can identify that email field, and I can definitely enter something. So ID is email or password is email, name is email. So it will be unique, I know. But if in case you are not able to identify them uniquely, you need to create your XPath or CSS. So now next lines of code I will be entering driver dot find element. So I will be identifying with the help of name or ID, right? ID I can give it. This is the ID value. So here I will be giving by dot ID and suppose a value. It is a web edit box, so I need to use send keys, right? So I will be also letting you know what is the importance of send key, and everything I need to give in double quote, because means those are string value. In case it is numeric, no need to give in double quote, but in except the in integer you need to give everything in the double quote. Suppose test 1 2 3 I want to give in the email field. Similarly for the password field, right, I want to enter something here. So here I will go with the name instead of ID. So I already used ID. Here I will be using pass, right? Name equal to pass. So I will be writing here driver dot find element, same syntax. So here by will be still same, and then dot, here it will be element locator technique, means name, and the locator value. That is the only difference. Pass. And here you can give some value. Dot send key is also text field. You can give some value. Okay. Now maybe say I don't want to quit the browser. I want to see whether my Facebook page is open, English link is getting clicked, my email is getting entered the value test 1 2 3, and my password is getting entered the value password 1 2 3. So with the help of different, right, properties, element locators, okay, I want to interact with that web page. Let's try to run it. So it will not give anything in the consoles. I am only able to visualize the execution. Are you able to see it, right? You can see it is getting entered.
Yes.
Okay, you can see here it is getting entered, right? Facebook page open, in the ID field test 1 2 3 entered, password field what you will not able to see, but if you click here you can see it. Password 1 2 3 is entered. So my code is working perfectly fine. So that's why you can write your code. Now you already see link text, partial link text, ID, name. But now I will show you what is the default CSS selector and XPath. In the upcoming session I will show you how to create your customized XPath or CSS selector. So if you do not want to identify anything, right, say uniquely with the name or ID. Suppose a pass name is duplicate there. So definitely first you need to identify the object uniquely, right, element uniquely. So in case your name, ID, other thing is not working, you can go for default XPath, right? So here you can see XPath. Copy the XPath. So for the password field I can change the properties to XPath. So here you need to change it to XPath, and here you need to give the value. Similar way, you can change it to CSS selector and you can change the value. So default, this is the default one, but it will still run. So by any properties which should be unique in nature, it should run the code. Okay. In case you are not able to identify uniquely, you need to create your own XPath and CSS selector customized way. I will cover you in the upcoming session how with the different properties you can create it, right? With the text, with the first word, with the last word, with the static part, dynamic part, everything I will be showing you. It is clicking on the English link, then it is entering the email, you will entering the password. Okay, it's my code is still working fine with the XPath also. So that's way you can just work with. Sometime there will be class available, right? In that here you can go with the class also. In case you can see the class is available, you can also go with the class. Okay. So that's way you can in ID, name, class name, link text, partial link text use, and you can go with the CSS and XPath. And the last one I will be covering is which is very critical part, which is tag name. So tag. So here all this thing is unique in nature, but tag is not an unique, right? So whenever you will be getting the tag, so you will be getting multiple elements, because tag, suppose say input tag, there will be lot of things will be there in the input. So if you press Ctrl F, if you type input, you will be getting right 1 of 7 input. Means there is 7 input is there. Something can be visible, something can be hidden, right? So that's why you can get it. Suppose say there is a Google page, right? I want to identify any element, right? Press F12 with tag name A, which is anchor. Means I want to identify all the links, right? Then definitely I need to print or get all the link, right? Okay. So here I can inspect anything. Okay, press Ctrl F and you can type A starting with anchor link, right? So you will get lot of things starting with anchor. Okay, no need to worry. So all the link will be starting with anchor link. So that is tag name. So you can see the tag name. It is what is the tag. Similarly, A will be tagged, right, for some link, right? If you select any link, right, say link. If you go to the link, you can see the tag name is starting with A, means anchor link. All will be linked. This text is Bangla, text is Hindi, text is Marathi, text is English, Urdu. All this text will be there, but anchor is A. So if you want to get how many link is available in the web page, you can get the count also. So you need to use find elements. Means it will give lot of elements, not a single element, right? So how can you get it? So let's try to refresh our code. So here I can comment out everything, Ctrl C, then commenting out. Okay, I'll be writing for different page. Suppose say I want to deal with Google page, because Google page is the best example where multiple links is available. So I will be launching Google page, right? Then I want to identify links. Divert.find element, right? By dot tag name. Here tag name will be A. It will be double quote. So here it will be multiples, right? It will be divert.find elements. Okay, this is the method also available. Okay, let's try to remove it. So if you press driver dot find elements, so you can see this is the element is coming, and it is coming from WebDriver interface. What is the return type? Return type is list web element. So you need to store in the return type list web element. Okay, so I will be using that one. So by dot tag name. What is my tag name? Tag name is A, and definitely I need to store in some return type list. Right, list web element. So it will be list, and then it will be web element list, and here in the code it will be web element. Web element is the class. Please remember, Web element is the class where you can store all the web element properties. Web element, and then here you need to declare a variable just like the driver variable. Suppose say I will be using links equal to, that is the different part. Now it is showing some error, so we need to list interface, import web element class from the org.openq.selenium, because this is coming from Selenium, and list interface is coming from Java, so we need to import it from Java, right? Java.util package. Now error message gone. Then now if you want to print how many, what is the size of the link, how many link is available, you can directly also store in some integer, right? So press links dot size, right? There is a method available which is coming from the list, and you can see return type is integer because it will give you some numeric value, right? So I can store in some integer, right? So integer, suppose say size, link size, variable name. Okay, so that is what you need to do. Now I can directly print that variable, so it will give me how many link is available in that web page. Is it good? Any doubt? Are you able to understand the code, whatever I have written? Otherwise I will repeat it again. Is everything good? Hello, any questions?
Yeah, fine.
Okay. So now if you want to try to print, run it, so that is the importance of find element method, also the tag name, where you can get multiples, right? Similar kind of interactions with that tag name only, and you can get multiple lists instead of single part. You can see Google is opening, and now it will print you how many links is there. Okay, it is not closing, so I can close it, and it will give me all the links. Okay, 25 links available. Now if you want to print all the links name, so you need to use for loop. So right now no need to worry about the for loop, so it is just starting point. So definitely all the loop will be discussed in details. So for the, this is the syntax for int, I need to declare a variable integer I equal to starting with 0, and this is the syntax. Everything will be a semicolon need to be given, I less than size, that is the link size, and I plus plus, that is the syntax of the loop, I plus plus. Then I need to print with the double bracket SYSO for every iteration, so I need to print it out. The variables I can give then dot get of I, get index. What is the index here? I is my index, and then dot get text. So that is the lines of code you need to write if you want to get all the text. I am repeating once more time. So first I want to launch the page, then with the help of tag names I need to use get multiple element. So find element return type is list web element. So I am not writing anything by my own, but I am getting suggestion that return type is that, and I am storing everything in the links variable. Then so I know that with the variable I can get how many links is available. So I am storing in the integer size, that is my size, and I am printing its total number of size. It is giving 25. Now if I want to get all the text of the link, so I will be using a for loop. I am starting from 0 and I am going to size minus 1 because I am starting from 0. So size is 25 means 25 element is there. But if I starting with 0, I will go till 24 so that I can getting 25 element. So that is the loop concept. Okay, and I am iterating it one by one, and then I want to print out that links dot get of I for every I and get text. So that is the lines of code I have written. Now if I run my code, it will give me 25 links count as well as the links text for each and every link. So that's why with the help of find elements as well as with the help of tag name, I can interact with the Selenium WebDriver for the multiple element. Okay, you can see now you will get all the links. So I am not closing it. So Gmail is a link, images is a link, English, Bangla, all this is a link. So definitely Java, say it will not able to understand all these things, right? So it will give a question mark. Okay, you can see the business is a link here. If you go down, right, you can see business, advertisement, everything link. So it is getting printed out. Whatever it will not able to understand, it will give in the question mark or in the blank, right? You can see everything is there. Image, 25 links. Gmail is a link, right? This is a link. Gmail, you can get it. Image is a link, right? And English will be coming as a link. Rest of the thing will be question mark because they will not able to understand it, the code, those language. Only is suitable with English. So in case you need to set it, then that is different story. Okay, for that particular language, you can write some lines of code for the particular language. Okay, so whatever is English, it is coming. So total 25 links is there. So that's why you can interact with that find elements method also for multiple links. Is it good? Any questions for different element locator techniques?
Good.
Okay, okay. So that is already covered. That is already covered. And right for the web-edit operation box. So I already covered what is the importance of send keys, right? And I will cover here the remaining one. So let's comment out this part. So again I will go for the Facebook page because where there is an edit field is there, right? So let's try to comment out. Okay. So let's try to open this lines of code. So here okay, so you are already entering field some value, right? Okay, so let's try to remove okay or comment out these lines of code. Okay, so that part you already get it after clicking on the English UK. So I am clicking on the name email field, right? Entering the value, but say email field I want to check whether is already displaying or not, whether it's enabled or not, right? After that I will be sending the key. In case it is not displayed, there is no point of identifying it, right? So first let's try to get, you can mute it, right, in case you are not talking. Okay, okay, so that I will be using that one web element part. Okay, yeah, I will be using the web element part so that I will be storing it. So but in case if you want to every time if you want to check, so you need to write all the line of code every time. Instead of that I will be going for an web element where I will be storing the properties. So email text, so that is the variable I am declaring and I am storing it. So now with the same properties I can multiple times I can use, right, web element. Now it's gone. So that is the variable. Now I can check with the variable whether that particular field is available or not. First part. So it will give me boolean value, true or false. Is displayed. Okay, is displayed, then I will check is enabled. Okay, so there is no point of checking is selected because this is not a radio button or checkbox. So I will use that one for radio button or checkbox only. Once it is selected, I will be entering some value dot then send keys. Right, I can enter say test 1 2 3, right? Then I can use another method for clear, right? So what will use? Clear will be clear all the value whatever I entered, right? So I can use clear. So it will clear the value dot clear. Again if I want to enter some more value, so I can enter it, right? Okay. So instead of test 1 2 3, I can after clearing I can enter 4 5 6. So that are the different part we can do it. Okay, for the any text box. Let's try to run my code. Let's see whether it's working properly or not. So it will enter the Chrome browsers. It will launch the Facebook page after maximizing it. It will click on the English UK link, right? It will identify the email field It will check whether it's displayed or not, boolean value true or false. It will check is enabled or not. In case it is displayed enabled, it will enter test 1 2 3, then it will clear the value and again it will enter test 2 3 4, whatever I have given, right? So that's why it will work 4 5 6 like that. It is entering, it is clicking on the English UK, then it will going, it is entering test 1 2 3, okay, and clearing the value and then it is entering 4 5 6 because it will work fast, okay. So the now you can see it is now it's 4 5 6 is there. Again if you want to clear, it will be cleared. So that's why that is the different important functionality we can perform for the web edit box. Another last one, we can check whether any attribute, suppose say for that particular field, right, lot of attributes can be there. So if I want to check, if I want to print some of the attributes, I can definitely print them, right, okay, also. So let's try to see the field and what are the attributes. So these are the attribute. Input type is the attribute and the text is the value. Class is the attribute and this is the value. Name is the attribute, email is the value. Suppose say I want to print the attribute as well in my console. So how can I print it? So let's comment out all the line of code. Now I want to get the attribute here, right? So I already declared the variable, right? So I will be entering SYSO. Then I will be adding here dot get attribute here, and here I need to give the value of the attribute, which attribute I want to print it out. Suppose say I want to print class, so the value will be printed out, okay. Similarly, if I want to print other attribute, say type, so value will be printed out. That's why I can get the different attribute of the web element. So attribute is the first part and the value is the second part. So value will be printed here if you want to get the attribute. So it will try to launch the Chrome browser, maximize it, launch the Google page fully, identify the email field, and it will get the attributes, relevant attribute for the part, right, email and password field. You will not enter anything, but you can get the attribute here in the console, right? You can see the class. First is the class, right? So whether class is coming, that class, you can see it is coming perfectly. Second was the type. So type, what is the type? It is text. It is coming here, okay. So that are the different part you can check, right, for the web edit.
Rather, one,
Yeah, sure. Yeah, please.
one question I have here.
Yeah, tell me.
So just wanted to know, like, get attributes will print the all the attributes, right?
Yeah, you need to give the attribute, right. Yes.
Yes.
So whatever attribute is having only.
Let's suppose, let's suppose class is one attribute,
Uh,
type is one attribute.
uh.
So ID is also in.
Yeah, right. In case it's there, you can only able to find it out. Here ID is there, you can get the value of the ID.
So for each and every web element, there must be some ID, is it?
No. Sometime for some elements, suppose the developer did not give the ID. That's fine. That is the reason we are dealing with the expert, right? Sometime you will not able to find class, name, ID for some of the web element. Especially for the JavaScript element, you will not able to find anything, ID, name, class. Then how will you identify the element? That is the reason expert or C selector came into the market. You have to create your own expert, customized way. Suppose say I am giving you, 1 second, let me give you. Let's the forgotten password link. Are you able to find something? Anything? Only it's the anchor link and text is there. Not no other attribute you can find it. Is it there? Then how you will able to identify it? So that is the reason the other properties is there for the link, right? Link, parcel link, still you are not able to identify it, then you have to create your own expert or CSS. Okay? Any more questions or you are good? Yeah, right. Whatever attribute here it is there, you can only print them. In case nothing is there, you cannot print anything. Yeah. So it's
You can fetch whatever.
right. It is just kind of fetching from the database. right? But the database would have contain the value. Okay.
Yeah, got it. Thank you.
Then the last topic for today's is like the link. Okay, how we can perform the different links. So you already know, right, how to perform the identify the link with the help of linked text or partial link text. But we can perform the click only. So click you already show, but now you can see whether the link is displayed or enabled or not. Suppose say this is my link, right? I want to automate here. Okay, the English UK. Let's comment it out this line of code. Okay, and then now here instead of that one, I will be storing in some web element. So it's better that every web element you can store it somewhere, right, with some variable, okay, so that you can use it multiple times. So English, give some suitable name, link, okay, so that you can identify what is all about. It's a link, it's a button, it's a text, or like that, right? So by the name itself you can see this is the English link, means it is linked somewhere. Now you can check, right, whether it's displayed or not. So just I will be checking whether it is displayed or not. So I will be just changing the variable here. Okay. Then I will be clicking on that dot click. So these are the three operations you can perform for the link or hyperlink. Okay. Now see whether it's working or not. And it will give you Boolean value, true or false, because return type is Boolean. Boolean means only true or false it can consist, right? String, it will be string, integer, it will be integer, numeric value. So that's why you can do. Okay, it will click on that link, and definitely in the consoles you will able to get the value. Is displayed? Yes. Is enabled? Because of enablement you are able to click it. Sometimes you need to check whether it's enabled or not, right? Definitely you are executing something, you are already in the testing field, so you already know, right? For some web field you need to check whether it's enabled or not. Suppose drop down value is there but it's enabled or disabled, you need to check it. So that is the validation you can do with that way, right? For each and every field you can check first whether displayed or not, enabled or not, then you can do the operation. So you can see both are true. That is the reason it is able to click it, right? So that is the different part for today's session. I think I have already covered it. Let's recap once more time. Okay, so you already get to know what the topics will be covered in the upcoming 15 sessions. So it will be, I will try to cover at least 6 sessions in a month. So by December mid, hopefully able to complete it. But one request for everyone, so whoever is attending the training, okay, because it cannot be done from my side, okay. So I will try to upload the training sessions in my YouTube channels. It will be private mode. I will share the link as soon as we done. I will be sharing the PPT in the PDF version. I will be sharing the code as well for every sessions. Please try to go through the PPT codes and the recordings one more time, 2 times, and then try to practice it. So Saturday Sunday session will be there. So you will be getting whole week. Okay, so 1 or 2 weekends I can miss, I can stop, right? So for you can practice it, because it is not about 3 months, 4 months time. You need to learn it. It is not that within 2 months you have to complete the course, but you are completing the course, but you are not learning. Then what is the point of the course? So that is my simple expectation. Though I am giving the training, but I also think for all of you, right? Because you are paying the amount, I am also spending the time. You are also spending the time. In case you are not able to learn it, there is no point. Okay, so task will be that, right? Try to open that ready page and try to do the same way for the different web element. Simple way. In case IT is there, expert part I will be giving you next time. So ready page you can open, you can try to click some link, right? You can go to that particular URL, okay? That is the ready mail URL, okay? So that is the different username, password, button, link is there. You can try to enter something, try to perform operation. That is a bit task for this weekend, okay? I'm sorry, I mean for that for first session, okay? So try to do. In case you are struggling somewhere, definitely I will be there for guide you, and definitely I have to provide my support, okay? So I mean I can assure that if you are following my class completely, you can easily learn, you can do your work, and definitely in case you are having some aspiration, you can clear it. So software testing you already know. I am not, though I have tried to repeat, give few important information so that it will help you to clear the interview in case they are asking something. Different tools, so that now you can concentrate on the Selenium with Java. No need to worry. Any tools, any framework, any programming language is fine to start your career in the automation. Then you can definitely enhance your career with the other tools. Right? This is the different advantage. This is the prerequisite for the Selenium web starting. JDK should be installed, Eclipse should be installed, right? Jar file should be there, Chrome driver, G-code driver, IE driver should be there for you if you want to perform with the different browser, right? You need to first create a project, then package, right? Then class, you need to add your Selenium jar files. After that, you need to write your code. You can identify your element with different element locator techniques, 8 primarily: ID name, class name, tag name, link text, partial link text. In case you are still not able to identify, you can go with the default CSS XPath, or you can create your own XPath of CSS, right? You can check get title, get page source, get current URL. You can go to one page to another page. You can back, forward, backward, refresh the page. You can maximize it. You can close the browser. In case it is a edit box, you can check whether displayed enabled. You can add some value. You can clear some value. You can get some attribute. In case it is a link, you can check whether displayed or not, enable or not, and definitely it's a link, right? You can click on that. So that's all for today's session. Thank you.